This is how big the leaves are.
It's the sunlight.
Hey guys, welcome to Wild Hope Homestead. It's been a little while since I've actually done some filming because people got sick again. We've had a bit of a hard month. Most of us weren't too bad this time except for Scarlett, who was really rather sick. So we're all pretty worn out from just getting by and looking after her, and yep, I'm seeing what I can get back to now, starting to get back into things outside. Thankfully the weather is nice for a few days. We've got some sun, which helps a lot. I haven't gotten to spend much time outside while Scarlett's been sick, but the garden is still doing things without me, which is nice. And it's kind of nice to see big progress when I guess I haven't been spending as much time in there. So things are further along and in the veggie garden, and that's good. So we'll have a look at how everything's doing. So some of the Egyptian walking onions that I planted are just starting to come up. There's one there, I think I planted. There's another one there, and that one, yay! We have had a lot of rain lately, and we haven't had any frosts for a while since the last ones, so that has meant that there are still, actually I'm not sure if that's caterpillar. Oh, I see slime. Slugs and snails have been eating my brassicas, but I have seen a few little green caterpillars still alive too. So they'll be alright. The strong will survive. 2 red cabbages. Oh no, there are 3 red cabbages. Whoops, the calendulas are popping up all over the place. Actually, the calendulas have been doing really well since it hasn't been too cold. There's very bright patches of orange in the garden. This one grew back really well. I'm not sure if it's just one plant or 2, but there are seedlings popping up all over the place as well. This one over here got hit a little bit by a 2-degree morning, but it's still hanging in there. Got some pak choi going to seed, so I'm just letting it do its thing. I haven't done any weeding in here for a while, so thankfully this isn't as bad as it could be. Some cabbages, some chickens. What are you guys doing? Several of the Musky de Provence pumpkins unfortunately went squishy. Some of them, I guess I needed to harvest them sooner. I didn't realise the stalks had died down, so they do seem to be a bit softer. Not sure if they're supposed to store for a while or not, but I've been getting some of them baked and getting pumpkin puree made, so the chickens got the ones that didn't make it. This is where I planted most of the Egyptian walking onions, and some of them are coming up now, as well as some nasturtiums are coming back because we haven't had any frosts, so that's going to be interesting. Well, as soon as we get a frost they'll die back and the onions will be fine, but there aren't any frosts in the 10-day forecast at the moment, so we'll see what happens. Pushing up through the mulch. These broccolis are doing well. other than having holes eaten in them. What did I put in here? Some red cabbages, more broccoli. Oh, there's purple sprouting broccoli in here, good, and collards. Which one's the collards? I can't remember. It's been a while. I'll have to have a look. And we had a few more cabbages over here. Unfortunately, there's some bug joy coming up there. Whoops, it's a bit awkward. 2 of the red cabbages that were in here got eaten. What happened is the slugs and snails don't normally bother the red cabbages as much, but their stems, as you can see a bit on this one, their stems, when they were young and tender, got gnawed. This one's not doing very well because its stem got gnawed as well, but it's it's trying to, but it's probably having a lot of trouble getting the nutrients up the stem since it's so damaged. So I don't know if that one's going to be any good. Sad. But I did plant some little sweet alyssums seedlings that I had that were on the table. I got those planted down there. They're just tiny at the moment. There's bungs alyssum all over the place. Still got some crazy parsley in here. I need to pull that one out. That one's gone really weird, like it's got a virus or something. But we've got kale down here, which seems to be doing well, other than getting a bit nibbled. And then I think those 2 were collards. This is the first time I've grown collards, so I'm not exactly sure what they look like. That's been rather nibbled. That's got caterpillar poop. Oh, there's a saboteur. This is the trouble. Since we haven't had frosty weather, the white butterflies aren't around anymore, but there were still some eggs and caterpillars. Or at least some eggs that survived through the last frosts. Right, he can go to the chickens. Look at that. It's like, it's winter. You guys are not supposed to be here. Unless the weather's been too mild. I mean, we have had cold air. I can't do this with one hand. But it's been, it's still been cool, but it just hasn't been frosty. So, not cold enough to kill them off. I'll carry on down here and then take these to the chickens. I've got one red pansy that's flowering, which is nice. Yay. The random leeks. Back past the broccoli and more leeks, actually elephant garlic. And more kale here. This kale's doing really well, so that's good. I need to get some into the freezer and whizzed up into flakes. I'm getting some oranges from our little orange tree, and these mandarins aren't quite ready yet, but they are getting pilfered by small children. So we've been getting a little bit more weeding done out here. I haven't gotten to plant the rest of my onions yet because we hadn't finished weeding this tomato and onion row here, but I've got the 2 brassica rows. These ones are doing really well. Very happy. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Those are the best ones. I planted those first and this lot were planted second. This lot are also close to the fig tree with its roots. And the weediest row, so they're taking a bit longer to get going, but the ones that are doing well are looking good. Look at these, those aren't cabbages, those are collards. I see, I can actually use some of those now, good. Some of the cauliflowers, these ones are smaller ones. I lost one over here, but it's been replaced by a volunteer kale, which is very nice. And this one here, I think this one, oh yeah, this one's had its top beaten off. So it hasn't got a distinct head or stalk coming out of the top anymore. It's just a few ragged leaves with nowhere to go. So that one's done. Slugs and snails. And I think the others are okay. Cauliflowers. That's a broccoli. I thought these were all cauliflowers. Why is there a broccoli? Maybe that one accidentally got mixed up. Or did I just bung one in there to replace something? I don't know. I think this was the one that stole one of the early white cauliflowers that's actually doing something, but it's been a little bit nuggled. I don't know. It's the poor early white cauliflowers. Anyway, they went to seed, and there are seed pods forming now, so that's good. I'll at least save some seed from those. And the good news is, since I let things self-sow all over the place, we've actually got broccoli popping up in here. And kale. There's all sorts of things in there. I need to get more weeding done, but things are popping up all by themselves, so that's good. Replacing, oh my goodness, look at all the kale over there. Replacing what was lost by their cousins. This is where the kumara was in this row, and we haven't, there's a few kales that we transplanted down the end. We haven't got to clean that up yet. And this is the row we've been working on, just started getting back to finishing weeding that so we can plant the potato onions in there. But I have planted a few red onions, about, 7 or 8 of them, just along the edge there. I really just need to finish weeding the path, and then I can get the path raked up a bit onto the row and get that tidied so I can plant onions all along the edge, and that'll help keep the edge nice. These are purple sprouting broccoli at the front here, so they haven't quite started heading yet. What lettuces are left? The lettuces are getting a bit old, but I'm just letting some go to seed. Scarlett found the broccoli, unfortunately, so we've had some bites taken out of 1 or 2 of them. But they're coming along really nicely. Really happy with how all these are. That was the worst one that she bit. Oh dear. Ooh, that might be the biggest one so far. They're not quite there yet, but I'm really happy with how they're going. And the cauliflowers with their ginormous leaves, these are getting the most sun down this end. Oh, there's a little snail. And they're still a little bit squished, I think, from being in the netting. But maybe that'll help the heads to stay nice and white and clean. They haven't quite started forming. Oh, look at the baby. Oh, that's so cool. Oh no, it's got a slug on it, or 2. Oh, look at what we have to deal with. Look, you're ruining my... Get out. Okay, now we can appreciate it. Look at that. tuck them back in. We have to keep an eye on those slugs and snails. It's so hard to keep them under control. And there are potatoes popping up all through here. They got knocked back by the frosts, whichever ones had popped up. But since we haven't had frosts for a while, they're just growing, so I'm just letting them grow and we'll see what happens. I did just purposely throw little potatoes back in there to see what happened. What are you doing down there? Are you alive yet? Not quite. This is how big the leaves are. Bigger than my head. In the garage. I was hoping to get everything finished in here before I got sick, but we didn't quite get there. However, I have put some of the timber on the new timber rack on the back wall. This is where I left off before I discovered that we actually had COVID, and that was why I was really tired and I needed to stop doing work. I don't know, it's been a few weeks. It's probably been a month now since, we've just had a lot to catch up on and a lot of things to deal with and more sickness. So I'm going to start getting back to this now, which is good. So I was just figuring out where to put everything, and I ended up putting some pieces down the bottom on the ground, the heaviest pieces. We have a few 150 by 50 millimetre bits of timber, and so those are quite heavy, so those are down there, and a big old post that was already here when we came here. Might be able to use that for something. So the really heavy things are down there. And then we've got, I think these are 2x4s. Yeah, I think those are just 2x4s at the moment. And then smaller things as we go up. And a bit of a slab there, and some old kitchen cupboard doors, spare ones that were in the garage when we moved here. So that's what's on there so far. The longest pieces of timber are still in the carport because they can't fit, so I need to make one or two things with those. And then we've got bits and pieces sitting around here. And then the conduit, metal conduit, and there's all sorts of scrappy little bits of wood, small pieces down here. So I need to figure out exactly where I'm going to put those. And then we've got the rebar down here, still on the floor, which I was planning to put in the corner over here with something to hold it in there. I just don't want it to get in the way of the timber. I have managed to get a couple of older things that we didn't want anymore sold on Trade Me, so that's helping to clear things out. And we're still putting some stuff in the trailer. Hopefully we're going to go to the dump on Saturday to get rid of some of the big stuff that has been cleared out of here and from around the property. So I think I've actually gotten rid of most of the big things in here that we need to take to the dump on the trailer. So that's good, because I want to go to the dump tomorrow. The trailer's been sitting around for some weeks with stuff on it that needs to go to the dump, so that's why I've been trying to get some more stuff done in the garage. Now I need to sort through the smaller pieces of timber and scrap timber and figure out where I'm going to keep those. I'm going to work on where the rebar and the conduit, the metal conduit's going to go in the corner first. Hopefully I can fit it all in the corner so I can get that out of the way and then deal with the small timber. So I've got an old pot. I thought I'd try and see if I can get them to fit in there, otherwise I need to find a bigger one just in the corner, and then I'm going to figure out a way to attach or keep them secure to the wall so they don't fall over as well. Actually, I'm going to scrap the pot idea because it will be easier to get them out of the corner when they're not sitting in something, because some of them are quite long. So this is all the rebar we have, plus metal conduit, smaller bits, offcuts. So those are all in the corner, and now I need to find a way to keep them secure in there. There's also some stuff stored up in the rafters that I'd like to get down. There's one bit of rebar up there which is quite long. That would be, 3 metres long maybe. So I might just get Steve to cut that so I can fit it into the corner. And then PVC pipe or conduit. Got some quite long pieces up there. Some of them can stay up there, but some of them are not that long, so they look a bit ugly. They've got fly poop all over them because that's where the flies go up high, so I need to think about what to do with those. And there's also an old metal screen door that Steve brought home that he found somewhere, but which he thought we could use for, it's actually really wide, for a veggie washing, to make a veggie washing station or something like that, but it's really fine mesh, so it's not going to be much use for that, and it has got holes, the metal netting, and it's really wide. I don't know how wide it is, but it's wider than a normal door, so it's, I think we'll just get rid of that with our scrap metal pile at some point. So I've got some bungee cords. The trouble is I was hoping to use smaller ones. These ones are 25 millimeters long. Unfortunately, they've only got tiny hooks. So what I was planning to do was attach some kind of hook to the brackets or something to the wall to hook those into, but they're so small. I think what I might be able to do is use fence staples, slice cut staples, which I've used around the chicken pen for some things. Bung a couple of those into the wall. The bungee cords aren't going to be just holding a whole lot of weight. They're basically just stopping the rebar and conduit from falling over. So I can use longer ones if I have to, but they don't need to be that long. So I'll have a fiddle around and see. I don't need something very wide for the things at the top, closer to the top, but I could use a wider one. I mean, even those, I don't really need something wide. I only need a small one, just to stop them from falling over. Right, I've got those sorted out. It's probably not the perfect solution, but it's one way of doing it. So what I've done is I've used 2 bungee cords. These are just 25 millimeter ones, so they're quite short, but I don't have space because I want to stay out of the way of the timber, and we haven't got that many things to put in there, so that's a good size. This one I probably could have moved the staple along a bit more, but I've put a fence staple in here. This is just plasterboard, so that's not the best, but this is plywood, so that's pretty sturdy in there. And then I've hooked the bungee cords. Make sure they've got some tautness, so they're not just sitting there. There's tension on there, so it's going to hold the hooks in there. I've put one down low because some of these are pretty short, and then I've put another one higher up for the taller things. This one I've probably done a little bit, there's a little bit more tension on that one, so that'll be good. So if those do fall away from the wall, they'll just kind of bounce on there. Whoops. And they're not going to fall onto someone or onto anything that's around here. So they're sitting away from the wall slightly down the bottom, but that's just an extra safety thing to help keep them in there. So I'm quite happy about that.